What's up, everyone? Welcome back to After the Storm. We are back with the Atlanta Thrashers expansion mode franchise, episode number 2, covering the very first offseason. We've just drafted our team. If you haven't checked out the first episode, I'll put a card up here so you guys can go ahead and check it out. Tons of players taken, some trades made at the draft. We drafted our first player. We got a nice medium elite defender, which is, looking back on it, maybe not, I wouldn't say a mistake, but it's going to be tough for him to crack the lineup given how good our defensive depth is on this team. So this episode is just going to be the off season here. We have a lot of cap to fill, so we might look around at some trades. There's not going to be a ton of free agents out there. I'm not sure, like we'll take a look here in a moment, but there really isn't any free agents out there to go after. So we might look around the league and see if we could acquire some picks from teams who are trying to get rid of some bad contracts. But our main priority with this episode is getting ourselves ready for the season. We'll do a little bit of a season preview with our lineups and see where the lines end up. The main goal is getting a lot of contract extensions done. The players that we want to have here long term, get them signed long term. Some people that we hopefully are going to see a lot more of. Get those guys extended because that's going to be very important to our future success. And we'll see about filling up that cap. Hopefully we're not taking on too much long-term kind of stuff in regards to bad contracts around the league. But hopefully we can just, get ourselves right around, I would say like 12 million in cap space is probably pretty ideal, and see where we go from there. So as we jump into the free agent screen here, it's pretty obvious that there's not a whole lot of free agents, not a whole lot of top end guys. We could bring in some people, but I don't really plan on doing much of this at all. I don't feel the need to. Wow, Michael Neuwirth. I don't really feel the need to drop money on free agents. I don't think we're lacking really anywhere. I could take a look at anybody who's going to be in the minor system. Ikonen has a lot of interest just based on the fact that he has a lot of potential. We could sign up a few extra players around here, like Josh Ho-Sang maybe, although it looks like he's an RFA with the Leafs. No, he's not, just on the Leafs, or on the Marlies rather. But we could sign a few people that have some potential, have the ability to come into the AHL lineup and do a little bit of get playing time. Really is the main one. Let's take a look here. Our contracts are 36 out of 50. Before we even go out and move anybody else around, it looks like that's about where we are. I'm going to take a look at in the system portion here. It looks like we're going to have a lot of players that are down in the minors. A lot of guys here not signed, and I don't plan on signing them just based on, even Olsen here, who's our draft pick. I don't plan on getting him signed even this season. I'm going to let him go back to Timrå of the SHL and develop a little bit further. And as you guys can see with how good our defense here is, there's not a whole lot of room for him to even come into the lineup. So yeah, we're just gonna leave him for now. We're gonna let him just be kind of around, let him go get some extra time down over in Sweden rather, and then come back next season and see where he's at. He probably should be up in the 80s next year, so he might be forcing our hand a little bit with making us sign him, essentially, because he'll be so good. So just taking a look at our in the system here, it does look like we're gonna have to bring up at least Bellows and Harkins this season, and maybe even Hirose, who looks like he could definitely make an impact at the NHL level. Those will probably be our call-ups from. Well, I know they've got them stashed in the minors right now, but that's not likely to maintain. It should be Bellows coming up with Harkins and Hirose, I would say, leaving Logan Brown, Brett Howden, Studnicka, Blickfeld, Forsback, Carlson, and Chaz Lucius as our minor forwards at this point. And as we take a look here at the defenders sitting in the NHL level, to me at least, it looks like we've got a lot here. Subban currently is dropped out here, but Clefbaum is one I'm thinking is maybe an option to move. He's got a lot of cap. It depends on his fit. I don't think we're going to make any of these trades and stuff until we get to the preseason and see where everybody fits and how well everybody fits. Again, Sandin's going to go down this season to the minors to start at the very least, and then Butcher, who we'll see how he fits as well. I thought Butcher would play a bigger role for this team, but just with the way everything sets up, it doesn't look like he's going to get much time at all, given how good the left side of our defense right here is. I mean, even extending down here. But we are definitely missing one extra right-handed D, so that might be a target for us to go out and get another right-handed shot defenseman. Don't really have to, I would say, at this point, but one guy can certainly play his offside. So taking a look around the league, there's a trade that happened. Martin Kaut, Justus Anunen for Jamie Alexiak. So Seattle trades off Jamie Alexiak to the Colorado Avalanche. Makes sense that the Avalanche would go and acquire another left shot D from around the league, given we took Sam Girard from them. So just dropping down to the AHL level here, we signed a few guys to just 1 year, 2-way contract. Carter Ashton comes in, Matt Puempel, Sabatka, Wilson, Quine, all come in. I think I'm just taking a look at how many people are now down here. So we're gonna take Bellows and Hirose, so Bemstrom, Brown, Howden, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12 players now to round out our forward group down in the minors. So that should do pretty good stuff for our team. It looks like we're pretty good down there. I'm not gonna go ahead and sign a 13th player just because the AI will have some sort of random guy signed to no money and all that kind of stuff, as the AI tends to fill out the roster. Looks like we've got 4 defenders down in the AHL right now. White Cloud, Heinola, McCoshen, and Gregoire. McCoshen and Gregoire were signings that we just did in free agency. So it looks like we should add maybe a couple extra D-men in just to shore it up a little bit. We do know that Rasmus Sandin will also be down here. Doesn't hurt to have an extra D, though. So our final free agent addition so far, this should be our final one just because we've kind of filled out the roster as much as we need to. David Warsofsky comes in, has played in Wilkes-Barre, has played in Chicago as well. Just another veteran option down in the AHL for a defensive team or defensive squad down there that should be pretty good this season. Honestly, the AHL teams should do pretty well. So at this point, we're kind of done with the free agent stuff. I'm going to sim up to the beginning of the season, and then we're going to go around the league and try to find just a few contracts to get ourselves to the cap floor and basically make it so that we're not upping anybody's contracts or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and sim up to the beginning of the season, and then we'll come back with some trades. So just in the jersey number screen, I set 3 alternate captains for the season. We're not going to name an official captain yet, but for me, it was pretty obvious who to go with here for our team. Matthias Ekholm, veteran defender on defense, will get one of the assistant captain roles. PK Subban, as I mentioned when we drafted him in the first episode, was going to have a letter on his jersey, and then the other one I'm pretty fond of is Brock McGinn. He's going to get the other A for the squad. All right, so we've got up to the beginning portion of the season here. We're about to kick off the preseason. I thought we'd run through the AHL lineup down here. Again, the coach down here, obviously not great, but we didn't really know that going in because there's no scouting to be done at the AHL level, basically. So it was very much a toss-up about what we were going to get here. Not great overall. Yeah, you can't really move much around. But it's a very good team down here. But I think there's going to be some adjustments being made. Guys like Butcher, Kulak especially, might end up in trade pieces. Just see where everybody ends up kind of thing. Goaltenders here, Ville Husso and Michael DiPietro run the AHL. Warsofsky, McCoshkin are the scratches at this point. On the NHL side, I definitely was hoping for a better chemistry boost, but this is pretty okay for the moment. Milano, Eller, Blay get +2 each. It looks like, yeah, Blay, I pretty much put everybody where their best fit was. It was very difficult to do. Paul, McGinn, Lindblom with a +2. Marchman, Bellows, Hirose, and then Boyd, Lizotte, Harkins. I haven't set any of these special teams up. I'll do that later, just to get the power play unit sorted out the way we want. What I'm going to have to do probably before the beginning of next episode is take a look at our AHL coaching staff and make sure their teaching attribute is pretty good. Let some of these guys grow a little bit. And obviously just see if I can find anybody who's got a better fit, because it doesn't look like that coach fits with any player on that roster. On defense, I prioritize chemistry a little bit here. So Ekholm and Bear are the top unit. Jake McCabe, PK Subban, Mikhail Sergachev, and Sam Girard, a very good third pairing. +1 there for both those guys. Definitely our two most offensive players on our third pairing, but those guys are going to get lots of time. We're basically going to have it so that we're going to just cycle through all of our D pairs. Everybody's reliable. Everybody can come out. This is definitely the highlight of our entire team, basically, is our defense. Goaltenders, as I mentioned, Ottinger, Vladar with the backup, but also we have Kakin in here, who is going to rotate in and out as the season goes through. I think pretty much everybody will play at least 20 starts, if not more. Some guys will get more starts. Ottinger will probably be the guy who gets handed a lot of, or the majority of the starts, I should say. But the idea is to make sure that we're not overworking any guy. Everybody gets time, so we know exactly who our best goaltender is. So now that we're here, we're going to go ahead and first take care of some contract extensions, and then we're going to make some trades to try to get ourselves to the cap floor. So we're going to acquire some bad contracts from around the league, bring them in, and probably just stuff them down in the minors in the AHL. Again, one thing I'm going to do, just to keep some realism in this, I'm not going to take on some of these contracts where I go to like 8 years and stuff like that. Basically, I'm going to keep it as for example here, Ethan Bear wants 3 years. I can only go to 2 or 4 based on his ask. I'm only going to go 1 year up or down based on his years wanted, to keep some realism in it. So we made a couple trades here. The first one being, and again, I probably shouldn't have done this with Buffalo of all teams. First one was I acquired Louis Eriksson. So Butcher went to the Coyotes, so I acquired Louis Eriksson and a third-round pick. So I just get a little bit more depth at the draft with extra picks. And then on the other side, Buffalo, I took Kyle Okposo, who's got 2 years remaining at $6 million, and Cody Eakin, who's 2.5 or something around those lines. So added in about $8 more million in cap, and swapped a 4th and a 3rd. So I moved up in the draft with Buffalo's pick, which Buffalo should have a pretty bad year, all things considered, and that pick should be pretty good. Just taking a look at this, we are over the cap floor. I don't really think there's any other players around the league that are, I guess we can take a look here and see how many teams. Again, I thought a lot more teams would be looking to move on these bad deals that they have, but not a whole lot of teams are actually looking to move some of these lower end contracts that are weighing teams down a bit. So it's very rare to see, like Buffalo, for instance. It's rare to see Jeff Skinner not on the trade block. Trying to think of any other teams. Calgary with Lucic. It doesn't look like they're even interested in moving him. Where is Lucic here? Here he is. Apparently he has value now, so there you go. So we made one more trade to send. We sent Alan Quine, who was one of our free agent two-way guys that we signed. Again, what was really difficult here was picking up players that, like trying to trade a player while you have this little roster depth is really difficult, because we can't really pull anybody off of our NHL roster to do so. So that kind of leaves, either you take some unsigned guys who I don't think we're really looking to eat into our prospect depth at the moment, or you take these guys that we just signed to two-way contracts, and that's what I did. So Quine and Sabatka were other ones that got moved out. So Butcher was the real one that did get moved. It didn't seem like he was our lowest rated defenseman. He was definitely going to be down in the minors all season anyways. There's at least 2 defenders here in Kulak and Sandin that are ahead of him. not to mention even Zach Whitecloud here. So easiest way just to move on. We acquired some picks. We moved up in the draft here a little bit. And yeah, the last one was Hallen Quine for, I believe it was Brett Connolly. Yeah, here's Brett Connolly. He's just going to go down to the minors. We don't really have a use for him, so he'll just be down. Again, the AHL team should be very good this season. And we'll take a look at some of the coaches around the league that are hireable and see if we can do anything there in regards to that. I don't really want to see Chaz Lucius get scratched in favor of anybody. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the coaches around the league, or for the AHL specifically, and see if there's anybody that can be hired that's a really good fit. Because right now we don't have a great fit with anything down here. So hopefully we can get somebody in who's a little bit better. Take a look at our current coach. He is a 60% fit, but it looks like players like Okposo, Eriksson, Eakin have really jumped that level up. So we don't want to really focus on those guys. We want to focus on Kulak, Sandin. Bemstrom's a good one to base off of. Whitecloud, Howden, Stadnika, Brown, Heinola, Blickfeld, those types of players. To see exactly what we're getting. So we're going to take a look at some hireable coaches here for the AHL. So unfortunately, with the way our budget system is actually divvied up right now, even going in and adding some coaching budget to our overall budget, firing this coach doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's going to cost us $255,000. So it looks like it's going to overall free up only just slightly under $300,000 for our squad. So we're going to have to just leave the AHL coach where he is, unfortunately, but hopefully the team should play pretty good. It's just, of course, it's a little bit concerning that there's no teaching skills down there for some of the young guys, but we're going to leave it the way it is and see how the team does over the course of the season, of course. But taking a look, wow, does our head coach ever have a good fit with this team? 78%. This team should do very well. Like there's only two players, Lazat and Hirose, that don't really fit with this squad. That's probably the highest I've ever seen a team fit for a coach. I'll say that much. For as many years as I've been playing with this coaching stuff in the game. So we've gone ahead and we've got ourselves over the cap floor. We've worked out some extensions as well. So those will start filing in here as we sim along. We're going to simulate through the preseason and preview our first matchups of the season. So the first domino, I guess I should say, to fall is getting an extension done for Michael DiPietro. I think it's 2 years at $1.8 million. I'll double check all these afterwards, though. We'll go through them. So Ethan Bear we'll kick it off with Ethan Bear here. He signs, so as I mentioned, I could only go one up or one down with him. So he signs a 4-year extension at $3.85 million. A very reasonable cap hit for Ethan Bear, who's playing top line, I believe, with Matthias Ekholm at this point. So hopefully, given where he is and how much he's not likely to grow a ton over the course of the season, he'll round out at a bit of mid-80s. But this is a pretty good contract for Ethan Bear here. Definitely a player who's going to quarterback our power play as well, so he'll get lots of time, should have lots of influence on the team. PK Subban's the next one here. He drops his price considerably. He wanted 3 years, so we went with 2 just to do our 1 plus 1 or minus 1 modifier. He's 32. He's going to be 33 when this contract kicks in. So he signed until he is 35 here in Atlanta, 3.75 per season, a very modest ask for PK Subban. Blake Lazat here playing 4th line minutes for us. He's one of my favorite players. I'm so happy that we actually ended up with Blake Lazat on the team here. He's a strange player. If you put him with like really good players, you can see this guy get up to 90 overall. NHL 21, I was able to get him to about a 90 overall. So I don't expect that to happen here. I'm not saying it will, but he's one of our first extended players here. He signs a 2-year contract, $1 million per. So again, a bottom six option with a very modest cap hit. Michael DiPietro down here in our Burnaby squad here in the minors. He signs 2 years, 1.6 per. So 2-year deal, 1.6. He's got a long way to go and a lot of growth to get done should he become our backup next year because of Dan Vladar for sure. Kakkonen is... Odds are he's probably not here long term, I'll say that much. But yeah, he's... DiPietro's got a lot of growth to do. But we're going to give him all the opportunity to do that down in Burnaby. And the last one here... Jake Ottinger, our future starter, well, our starter now, but the future in net for our team, 22 years old. He's a medium elite potential. He should grow pretty substantially in the next 3 to 4 seasons and become a very good goaltender. He signs again 2 years, 3.85. He wanted just 1 year at 1 year at 1 point something, but to get him at 2 years, he dropped his price a little bit below his ask of 4. And we get him extended. So him and Vladar here at least for the next 2 seasons. And then maybe DiPietro comes up after that first season of his new extension. So this makes my life a little bit easier here. We're only going to do the first game in the next episode. So we'll just play 1 game in that next one. I was looking to usually when you start off these expansion modes, you're on the road for the first game. So I was going to do the inaugural game and then the home opener, but both of these are going to happen on the same day actually. So we're going to have the option of just playing this Winnipeg game, and then we'll do probably a little bit of simming. We'll come back in after, maybe every 8 or 9 games or so, just matchups that are curious to us, playing against the Canes, for instance. A former rival, playing against the Florida Panthers, stuff like that. We might come in and just play a game here and there. Interesting game here against Seattle might be a solid matchup due to both being the expansion clubs. I also just realized, how fitting is it that our first game back in the NHL as the Atlanta Thrashers, we're going to play against the Winnipeg Jets. The team that relocated from Atlanta to become the Jets, we're going to play against them in the first game, so that's pretty awesome. Could not be written better. So before we go in this one, let's go ahead. I'm going to go edit some players around, and we'll get a preview of our 3 captains and our goalies in their new equipment. So the first player up, I know it says he's got a C on his jersey. He does not. This is Matthias Ekholm, of course, number 14 for our squad. Again, this is also the first time you guys are seeing the jerseys. I really do like the jerseys a lot. I'm going to maybe zoom in on Ekholm a little bit closer here just so you guys can see the jersey a little bit better. Let's take a look here. So the template, I think, is the old Sens jersey, I believe. But I thought it worked pretty well. We wanted to keep the dark shoulder on the that was on that powder blue uniform that we had years ago here in Atlanta. We have the as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell this. It looks like it shows up with the video. I know it's not very noticeable in 1080p, but it's very noticeable in 4K. The stock dragon logo comes in on every jersey for some weird reason. I'm just seeing that. I don't know what EA, something's wrong with that. Anyways, if they ever see this. But just going over the jersey here, we have the gold patch on the arm as well. We have a tertiary logo here on the shoulder that's just meant to, be that old Thrasher, the kind of winged out front-facing one. That's got our colors on it. So we have a shoulder crest. I like the stitching around the numbering as well. So a pretty solid jersey here. I'm a big fan of it. And taking a look down a little further, the socks, just the gold with the black, keeping it simple. Black, or the dark blue pant. I should say not black, the dark blue. It is dark blue. It's not black. Anyways, the pants are just a design that was simply off their old uniforms. Dark blue pants with the logo, the tertiary logo on the right side of the pad, and the gloves remain pretty standard. Gold lettering, blue highlights, white highlights here on the fingers for the Bauer ones. You guys can see if you go through some other ones. Oh, these are brand new gloves into the game. Nobody mentioned that they put in new equipment. EA, why don't you guys ever mention you put in new stuff? Yeah, definitely some new equipment here. It's like new True gloves as well. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, didn't even know that they I put in anything new into the game, and there it all is. For some reason, Verbero keeps getting new equipment despite me not knowing what the heck that company is. Those look like new as well. So yeah, some equipment got updated for sure to this game, and nobody said a word. Anyways, just because of that, let's give Ekholm these new gloves. Anyways, guys, that's preview number 1. Matthias Ekholm, one of our assistant captains. Next up on the list is PK Subban. Of course, PK is going to be a character in our locker room. He's going to be a leader on the ice, both on and off, really, for our squad. I'm just showing you guys the home jersey. Before we do the next episode with the first game, I'll run through all the jerseys and preview all of them as well. I really like the away jersey. I really like the alternate as well. So PK here, again, just another captain for our squad. Looks good in the Atlanta colors. And of course, our third captain, Brock McGinn. Ginner, one of my favorite players that Carolina had. He's now in Pittsburgh. And man, I like this guy a lot. I'm just going to change his colors up here on his stick. But yeah, one of my favorite players around the league, and of course a guy, when we had the option to take him from Pittsburgh, not going to shy away from that at all. He should be a very good player for us. Playing in the top 6, he's a kind of a grinder, physical player. More of a two-way forward at this point than he is a grinder, I should say. But yeah, he'll have a big impact. I think he's going to wear number 24, but I still have to go take a look at some jersey numbers and make some adjustments there. So that will come between the next episode. I'm not going to show you guys what I do anyways with that. But yeah, there's our 3 captains, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the goalies, and we'll be back. So first up, Jake Ottinger, the present and the future in net for our Atlanta Thrashers team. Going with the new Hyperlight Bauer pads that look so nice in this video game. He's using a European League team's helmet, but it's got some gold on it. It's got the nice dark blue. It's got the nice, baby blue, sort of powder blue color scheme. So we went ahead with that one. Color schemes on the pads, of course, taking a look. Has that nice dark blue on the inside, the powder baby blue, and with the gold and maroon accents on it. Now this is again, might look a little out of place with our alternate jersey, but again, Jake's got some nice equipment here, so yeah, I really like. I love how good the Bauer Hyperlight looks in this game. So yeah, there's Jake Ottinger looking solid in a brand new set of pads and ready to start some games. And with Dan Vladar, we went with a different setup here. He's also got some Bauer pads, but he's using the older style version. Very color heavy for him on this setup as well. He likes the baby blue. He's got the nice dark blue on the outside and with the gold accents. And then, of course, his stick with the gold lettering with the dark blue accent covering it. And his goalie, or his mask, I should say. Not sure where his mask comes from. I think it's the Ice Hockey League. Yes, VSV. So Grand Emo VSV of the Ice Hockey League here. Nice look. It's definitely I think it's a bird on the mask. It's got some nice white accent on the top. The blue doesn't really match our blue, but it's a nice blue nonetheless, and it's also got a gold. So I like the way it looks with the jersey. It's a nice different aesthetic to put together. But there is our backup, Dan Vladar. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this second episode. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun so far, and I'm really amped up to get into the Winnipeg game. So next episode will just feature probably a handful of simulating some games and the playing of the Winnipeg game. We'll take a look at, just before we go, let's go ahead and let's just show off the jerseys. So here, of course, you guys have seen so far, we have our home jersey. Our away jersey does, again, the templates in the game are a little limiting. So this is a very, I believe it's just a Columbus stock template. But basically what we wanted to do is kind of use the old style from like the early 2000s type of Atlanta Thrashers. Keep the blue down the arm. Have that maroon, sort of dark red maroon accent on the shoulders and going all the way down the arms. Pants remain the same, and then we add in the gold accent onto the socks. And of course, because with the way everything is, and it's kind of set up very nicely, is that we have the option in the offseason to go ahead and make some changes to the jerseys. So I might look for some alternate designs And also, if you take a look here, we're gonna take a look at the logos here. You can see the beak on the Thrasher logo, and this one is white, and as you go to the other one, it turns into gold. So it's just a slight change, slight modification on the primary logo. On the alternate jersey, which is, again, it's meant to be a type of jersey that was like the original one they came in with, the original home jersey, the dark blue with that logo, with the maroon all over the rest of the jersey with the gold accents. So the logo, of course, not great, but it works out just well enough for our squad here. You know, pants remain the same, basically putting the primary logo back onto that right pant leg, and then the socks with the maroon and gold accents around them. Anyways, guys, that will officially wrap up episode number 2. Thank you so much for watching today. We've got our off season done. We got ourselves above the cap floor. We got some additional players for the minor league team, so they should be really good. Looks like they won their first game. Brett Connolly with 2 goals. That's pretty good. But anyways, we're ready to start the season. We're going to play the Winnipeg Jets in episode number 3. I can't wait. Facing the team that relocated us the first time. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video today, give it a thumbs up down below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell beside it there. You'll get these videos as soon as they upload. And as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.